Hey, friends. Happy Wednesday. My name is April Woodcock, and I'm with Touching Clients, and I am coming to you from Voluntown, Connecticut. It's great to see everybody today. Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about a simple recipe for success. This is a webinar in partnership with Constant Contact. I am an authorized local expert with them and have been a partner with them for the past 18 plus years. So pretty long time. And it is one of my favorite tools in my tool chest for digital marketing. We are being, this webinar is being recorded. So you can always come back to this link. The recording will be here. And because it is a Constant Contact webinar, I do want to let you know that there will be a offer at the end offering you a free trial and a discount for Constant Contact. So just I like to let people know that ahead of time. All right, so obviously we're live, so hopefully technology works in my favor today. It should. The sun is shining and the snow is melting here in Connecticut, so that's always a good thing. Feel free to drop a hello in the chat, and also if you have any questions, I will definitely answer them at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started. My goal is always to try to get these webinars done in less than 30 minutes, but because I want to be respectful of your time here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen here and we are going to get started. All right. So again, today, friends, we're talking about a simple recipe for social media success. My name is April Woodcock. I own a small digital marketing agency here in Connecticut called Touching Clients, and I am also a partner with Constant Contact. So thinking about social media, I tell this story a lot, and I think it kind of just it goes back to how the things have changed in marketing along the way. But social media is definitely a valuable tool. I remember back in 2010, 2011, talking about learning about Mari Smith. She was the Facebook queen, and sharing it with a BNI, so Business Network International group of about 75 people, and they were thinking it was a fad. And now look where we are. Every business definitely has to consider social media as part of their business. But here's the thing: it doesn't need to be overwhelming because it is a marathon. It is not a sprint when we're using social media, and that's one thing that you need to remember. So you can influence people. 45% of shoppers say that social media hooks get their attention. We are in a very connected society. We have our mobile phones that keep us connected in every single way. And with our mobile apps, people are checking their social media constantly. And whether that be good or bad for a business owner in marketing, it is a great way to stay top of mind awareness and get your brand in front of them. And people do make decisions based on word of mouth marketing, which happens definitely on social media, as well as reviews and things like that. It's definitely a great place for nonprofits, for people to support causes. 84% of information shared on social media definitely shows support for a cause. I have the honor of working with a few nonprofits. One is for veterans, and I can see this every day, kind of the impact that they're doing in the community, and then also the impact that it's people are sharing it on social media. And consumers want to find you, so they're more likely to buy from brands they reach on social media because there's social proof, right? There's social proof, there's reviews, there's conversations, and they definitely can make assessments that way. So some of the things we're going to cover today are essentials for your social media strategy. 15-minute social media plan. My goal is to make social media less overwhelming, and that it becomes part of your regularly planned day or schedule of the week or monthly schedule. And then talk a little bit about getting started with some social media paid ads. All right. So the first thing I encourage everyone to do is to claim your name on every single channel. When I say that, people often go, I don't want to be spending all my time on social media. You don't have to, but you do want to claim your channels. Here's why: because things change. Facebook changes, Instagram changes, TikTok changes, all these platforms change. And what might be your target audience focus today if you're on Facebook, that could be redirected maybe at Instagram in 6 months. Things change, and there's ebbs and flows in social media. Also, there's ebbs and flows in kind of the marketing the target audiences on channels. And the other thing about that is you want to make sure that if you decide that, Facebook is not for you, you're not getting the return on investment, and you want to go to a new platform, having that claimed space is key because you already have the URL. Now, sometimes businesses run into where their business name is similar to something else, it's the same. So if you're a local business, you could add like your state. So it could be Touching Clients CT. So it kind of dials it in. But I would encourage you to definitely claim your URLs. And really, what ends up happening is you'd put just a placeholder pinned post at the top that just tells people where you are active. But it's great to just have that presence. You want to definitely pick only one of your social media channels to start with and choose from and get really great at and learn about it, and learn kind of the nuances, learn about the content delivery, learn about the different structures of content. When you're talking about like Instagram, for example, you have posts, you have reels, you have stories, then there's lives, there's lots of different types of content you can deliver. And time is money, friends, right? So it can take up your time. So, the thing is to start with one, get really great at one, and then expand to another channel as you grow your business and you scale and your social media becomes. And sometimes businesses are perfectly fine on one channel, but the nice thing is that if you start with one and get to know it, then you can bring in another channel. And like Facebook and Instagram work together, so that's always kind of a nice mix because you can use their business, meta business. Scheduling, lots of different things. So you definitely want to think about, a lot of times people use scheduling tools to help manage their time, which is fantastic because, you want to make sure that you are consistent on social media platforms, but you definitely want to make sure that your voice is a little bit different and that you're talking to the appropriate audience on there. So like you want to, these examples, so like if, for example, Instagram, even the format of the image is a little bit different. You have 2,200 characters, where on Facebook you have 2,400. And then you can put links in your post, which is kind of, they made some changes back in December on that on Facebook. But on Instagram, you actually don't put a link in your post. You want to refer them to your bio. So you just want to make sure that you're modifying social posts to each channel. And the goal is to focus, kind of dial it into 3 areas: increase your awareness. So, you want people to know about your products and services, discount maybe that you offer, upcoming events. It's a great place to provide customer service. People will reach out to you on social media. Or if you're not managing your social media where you're getting customer service, you want to make sure that you set up your channels for success. So you can set up an automated message. We check this within 24 hours. In the meantime, call us at this X, Y, and Z. But it is a great place to provide support and answer questions. And then it's also a great place to drive action, right? So sharing offers, great place to build your email list. The money is in the list, as they say. And the goal is that you're driving traffic back to your website. Now, people do take action. You can have them take action right in whatever social media channel you're using. But your goal is to get them back to your website so they can learn a little bit more about you. So some ideas to grow your following: search for people that are near you. You can look at related hashtags. So, industry, you can kind of, in the search bars of the social platforms, you can put in some different hashtag keywords. You can ask people on your email list. This is a great way, if you have an email list, to let them know where you are on social media. Also, when you get people into your list, tell them, you can create a welcome campaign and tell them where you are. Hey, connect with us on social media. Share, I'm working with a fitness facility or fitness wellness studio right now, and they run a lot of campaigns where it's like, tag us on social, and it gets the engagement and it gets the audience excited, the community excited. So always looking at places where you can ask people to like you on Facebook, follow you on Instagram, follow you on TikTok, subscribe to your YouTube channel. Ask in person, let people know, and then join related groups. So, it's always great to kind of have that top of mind awareness of getting involved in conversations. I would never, ever encourage anyone to get involved in a post in a group where they're selling themselves, but offering your expertise, because with expertise comes trust. But that's a great way to grow your following as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the 15-minute social media plan. Um, let's see. I just want to make sure there was no questions here. Okay, perfect. So you want to meet those three goals. So your goal is obviously, we just mentioned awareness, customer service, and action. So to generate awareness, you want to make sure that whenever you're creating content, that you have, that you're, first of all, when we talked about claiming your profiles, that it's consistent with your business name, that if I go to your website and then I go to your social media channel, they're similar, your logo's there, the name is consistent, but visuals matter as well. So you want to take the time, and I love Canva. Canva is one of my favorite tools. I'm not a partner with Canva, but I can tell you that I spend most of my day in and out of Canva. And Canva offers some great visuals to help you to create that visual storytelling. And the one thing you need to remember is, as you're using these tools to kind of build your awareness in your business, AI is definitely a tool that's very helpful, and it's definitely a tool in our toolkit that can help you to create some content and help you be consistent. I would be mindful of the AI images, but that's totally a personal preference. It really is, if you can take pictures of inside your story, behind the scenes, your clients in action, it really does make a difference in humanizing your brand, and creates that kind of connection with people. So the other thing, and these are just examples of posts. So, you have your community pet center that's talking about the dog that is up for adoption or needs a foster. Then you have the Italian restaurant here showing you the difference between, looks like spinach fettuccine and spaghetti. And then you have a home decorator that's sharing kind of how to decorate a room. So the goal, again, is the visuals and telling a little bit of the story. I would also encourage you to never just post a picture. You want some context to it. You want to ask questions to get engagement. Here's some customer service things. So, thinking about, again, visuals, but you can actually make clickable links back to, and this is kind of examples of also some ads. When you're running an ad, you can include a link right in the bottom of an image here for people to shop now, for people to contact you, things like that. So customer service. The other thing too is letting people know where you're available. So creating content posts around, we're here for you. Let them know how they can contact you. Tell them about customer service stories, like how you help customers. Share those stories. And kind of, I think it's a great post. I just wrote a blog. So I was with a client, and they are in the electrical field. So they're electrical contractors, and they do commercial in particular. And I'm doing some training for one of their staff members. And we went on a location to a job, and the goal was to take pictures. We took lots of pictures we took like 100 pictures of different angles of different things that they were working on. And the goal was to build a library that we had real pictures to use. The other part of that was to build a story about this project. So this project is a historical project. The building was from like the 1920s, where it was like old department stores. One of the windows in this old office building was called podiatrist or podiatrist or something like that. Never saw that word in my life. And I actually looked it up, and really what it was the precursor to what's now called a podiatrist. But the cool part of that was we wrote this story about kind of the back end story of the history. And then we wrote it into content about what they're doing to, they're actually making this building into small, affordable apartments for people. And so we wrote it as a blog post. And now what we did was we repurposed that content where we're writing multiple social media posts that's driving traffic back to that blog post. But the nice thing is we have this library of library that we can share along the way. And because the project's not finished, it just started in December and it's about a year, we can also encourage progress over time. So when you're thinking about some social media things, think about projects you're working on. Think about how you can make it so people can relate to it in their business or whatever your product or service is. I would always encourage you to think about actions. So the 80-20 rule still plays into content. So that 80% educational, that 20% sales format. But keep in mind, it's 100% marketing, friends, when you're posting on social media. Why? Because you're sharing your name across your channels. You're also sharing and educating people. You're building that trust, right? So in your posts, encourage people to ask or to get involved in a conversation. So, maybe you are so I do digital marketing, and so maybe I wrote a post about I have a blog post that's about email marketing, and I'm sharing a post on my social media, and the post is about kind of some tips for subject lines, and my last line is, what subject line got you the most open rates? Something where I'm trying to encourage the conversation. So when you encourage people to take action, especially in the conversation, it gets a little bit easier to kind of build that momentum. So think about when you're creating your post about how you're creating action. Definitely repurpose content to save time. So again, I use that example of that blog post that we just wrote. If you're not writing blog posts, that's okay. But I would encourage you to kind of think about if you have a guide or if you have a checklist, how you can incorporate that into repurposing content. So you send out an email campaign, an email newsletter, repurpose that content into your social. You can also repurpose other people's content. So, for example, you can share content from other platforms, right? And it automatically gives credit. So, if I read an article, maybe I read an article from Forbes. I'll just use that or Constant Contact. I'm friends with a lot of the partners there, and they share blog posts on Constant Contact. I could share from Constant Contact. Now, that also is a great way to kind of get some fueled action behind that post. But think about sharing it. And again, don't forget to adjust your messaging for the platform, right? So, like LinkedIn is going to be a little bit more, it's going to be a lot more educational based, whereas, Facebook is kind of a more, I don't want to say lighthearted, but a more casual place of sharing content. So you just don't want to make sure that you cater your messaging to your audience. Definitely find and share industry news. That's a helpful thing. So you can use Twitter. It's really X, advanced search, and feedly.com is a great tool. You can also, I also will search things in Chat GPT I'll put in a topic. The only thing you do want to make sure with any of this stuff, if you're getting industry news and trying to find kind of the latest things, is look at the date. Look at the date of when it's come out. Sometimes there's no data for a year on a certain topic or subject, but it's something where you just want to be mindful. I also use Google Trends Google Alerts, where I can get alerted by keywords that get put out. So I can kind of get the latest news, which also helps me to be current, but also make sure that you're following things in your industry too. So sign up for some newsletters that have current information. That also makes it a lot easier to share information. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some paid ads. So algorithms definitely limit your reach. I always think we're fighting with lots of different things. So, for example, on my Facebook business page, I paid for verification, and I kind of was testing it, and I'm still paying for it. I started in September, and I will be very transparent. I haven't seen the benefit of the reach and any of that. However, I did it because I haven't always been as consistent as I needed to be on my social media page. And I have a pretty decent following, but the goal was to kind of revive the page and revamp the page. And I can see where the algorithms definitely limit my reach. If I post a video, I get views. If I post a post with just an image and text, I'm not really getting engagement. So this is something where I would consider social media ads. So I do regular webinars and I want to get people to sign up, right? And kind of learn about the topic, learn a little bit about me, start building relationships with people. And so this is where I would use a social media ad for my business. I also might do a social media ad for driving traffic to my website for like blog content, or signing up for my email list. But Facebook ads can definitely be helpful. Any social ad can be helpful. There's when you create ads, you can actually have it where it's not only in the desktop, but it's in the mobile, in your mobile area. The other thing too is that you can retarget people. So there's like kind of the surface level of ads, and I'm not going to go deep in the weeds here today, but um, so you have your surface level ads, and then you can go deeper where you can retarget it. So if they've come to your website or if they've clicked on your ad, you can then go back to them and serve them more ads. So there's lots of different advertising. But what's nice about it is it's pushing your brand presence and whatever your offer is in front of people. And the way that the ad platform now work, in particular on Facebook, they have this whole AI element where they'll change your image to, they'll change some of your text to talk to the audience, and they'll test drive it. I have used it limited, but it seems to have worked pretty good, except on one occasion, it used an image that just wasn't reflective of what the ad was. But it's definitely a way for you to consider reaching desktop and mobile, more people on those platforms. So lead ads are a great way to start. Lead ads are basically, the form is on Facebook and they will collect your email address, and it's a great way to get people in the funnel. It also keeps people in the platform, which people like to stay in the platform they are. This is something where you go into your ads platform in Facebook, and it is called a leads ad collect, and it collects email address, becomes permission based. So it allows you to put it into, connect it with Constant Contact or whatever email service provider you're using. And then you have click ads where they're just driving sales to maybe a sales page, to your website. Now, the big thing with advertising is the analytics, right? So you always want to be considering what becomes a conversion. So if I was doing a lead ad campaign, collecting an email address, there's money in the list over time. So if somebody converted, put their name in for my email and gave me their email address, that's a conversion to me. On a click ad, it's a little bit different because you're sending them to a page. So, if they click on the ad and they go to a web page, that's great. But you want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success, that if they buy a product and make it to the thank you page, meaning like I've bought, a new dog leash and now I've purchased it, I want to make sure that you're tracking that. And that's some of the things you need to consider when you start doing ads, is kind of looking at that analytics and making sure that you're setting yourself up for success so you can track it. But what ads are great at, it definitely helps you to narrow the demographics, the location, the behaviors of people. You can really kind of dial into your audience. And I also think this is always a great place, if you're a new business, to start with some short, not overly expensive ads, but you can create some ads and kind of match, your target audience to kind of dial into where the interest is coming from. You can also, again, add that layer of a lookalike audience. So that's something where you have email addresses, and then Facebook will help find ones that kind of match. So it's kind of a next level ad campaign. So, kind of just dialing in and looking back at kind of the recipe for success with social media, you want to focus on three things: driving awareness of your brand, your offerings, your services, providing customer service, looking at ways and opportunities for customer service, driving action. Your goal is to drive action, for people to take action, whether it be commenting on your post, whether it be signing up for an email guide, or whether it's just getting them to your blog post. I would encourage you to try to spend 15 minutes a day on social media. Now, when I say that, one of the things I would encourage you to do is that I would encourage you to set a timer. 15 minutes a day goes by in a snap. But if you did it every day or during the business week, 15 minutes a day, that's, that's what, an hour and 15 minutes a week on social media. That's consistency. That's allowing you to be consistent. And I think in all of our businesses, we can afford an hour and 15 minutes to add, to kind of really dialing into our social media presence. And then consider ads. I would encourage you though, if you're just getting started with social media ads, I mean, I just barely touched on them today, is that there's so many great beginner workshops or webinars out there. Consider watching one. Meta has their own as well, and watch them, because I've seen, and I would never want this to happen, that people have said, "Oh, I'm going to spend $500," and then they get nothing on their return on investment. I want to make sure that when you go in and create an ad, that you are confident that you can create a first layer ad, and you understand how to set a date to shut it off, and that you don't have a continuous ad running. The platform is pretty easy to use, and it does walk you through. I am not an expert on Facebook ads, but I know enough to do some decent ads with some good return on investment. And that's what you have to do, is when you're learning about Facebook advertising or any social media platform advertising, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, that you take some time to learn it, so you're not losing money. That's the big thing, right? All right, my friends, I did it in 26 minutes. So I appreciate you coming today. With Constant Contact, they do have an offer for my friends today. You get a free trial, and you also get 30% off your first 3 months if you use 330p. You just scan this QR code. What I love about Constant Contact, so kind of some background history. I do a lot with email marketing and marketing automation. Keep certified partner. I am versed in Active Campaign, Entreport, MailChimp, Mail, lots of different email service providers. Why I like Constant Contact, and I'm a partner with them for the long haul here. They have great customer service. I also appreciate that they have a lot to offer in their interface for small business owners, which I think goes a long way. They have email marketing, they have marketing autoresponders, they have events, they have landing pages, they do have a social media scheduler offering, and it's pretty easy to use, and they have a lot of great educational trainings to support that. So if you are interested in Constant Contact, again, you're welcome to scan this QR code. I'll also drop it in the chat here. Let's see. Constant Contact free trial. And feel free to drop any questions you have, my friends. I'll drop it here. And then the code, I actually have to look at the code. It's there you go. That should be popping up now. Hey, Melissa. Oh, wow. You cover a vast area there. The football gal. Oh, I love your name, Molly. I love your user handle. Welcome. All right. And here is the code. All right, my friends. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Well, I appreciate your time today. And I'm going to drop my website here as well as my email. And this replay will be available, just so you know, after we finish, because I did this through StreamYard. So it also streams live to different platforms. So you can also come back to the replay. All right, my friends, I appreciate your time today. I hope you have a fantastic day. And if there's any questions that you have, please email me. I'd love to connect with my friends on Alignable. I love networking opportunities. So I hope to see you on the platform, and I hope to see you again. I typically do Constant Contact trainings on Wednesdays. So would love to see you again. Have a fantastic day. I hope where you are, it is sunny and shining, and that you get out for a walk. Take care, friends.